before asking you about particular cases, I want to know, how do the justices interact after a term like that? Are you at each other's throats? Is it like a episode of Survivor where the crankiest justice is voted off the island or something like that? I mean, basically, do you actually get along, and what are your relations with your conservative colleagues?
Well, you'll notice at the moment we're done, we all leave. And there's something too that after a year like that, you maybe need a little bit of vacation from each other. But we get along remarkably well. And I think people don't appreciate that about the court, because you read these opinions, and the opinions are sometimes very strong. We sound as though, it's the verbal equivalent of throwing brickbats at each other. And so you think, well, how could they possibly really interact with you? But we do. We like each other very much. This is a very collegial court, especially as compared with some moments in the court's history where justices have not much liked each other. I think today's court, there are true and genuine friendships. And, it's true that the disagreements test people's capacity to work together and to come back the next day and to find your colleague just as delightful as you found him the day before. But I think we're all grown-ups, and we managed to do that. And the court is full of great people, and I think we do manage to enjoy each other.
All right, specifics. You went duck hunting with Justice Scalia. How was it?
Well, I haven't gone duck hunting yet, although that's on the trip list. But I do go.
It's on the bucket list, actually.
I shoot birds with him. Fair, 2 or 3 times a year now. And then he, at the end of last year, we had been bird shooting 4 or 5 times. And I'll tell you how that came to be. But before, he said to me, it's time for big game hunting. And we actually went out to Wyoming this past fall to shoot deer and antelope. And we did.
You're getting some hisses from the audience. Were you I hope you were a better shot than Dick Cheney?
I shot myself a deer. The way this started, I'll tell you the story. The NRA has become quite a presence in judicial confirmations. And that means when you go around from office to office, from chamber to chamber, I met with about 80 senators individually. And quite a lot of them, both Republicans and Democrats, ask you about your views on the Second Amendment, but because you don't say anything about your views on anything, then they try to figure out, well, what are your views on the Second Amendment likely to be? And they'll say, well, have you ever held a gun? Have you ever gone hunting? Do you know anybody who's gone hunting? And you know me, Jeff, I grew up on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And this was not something we really did, And so I kept on having these conversations where I would say, well, no, and no, and no, and I was, and finally somebody said to me, one of the sets of these questions, and I said, Senator, I said, if you were to invite me hunting, I would really love to go. And this look of total horror passed over his face. Has this woman just invited herself hunting with me? And I thought, well, I've gone too far. And then I sort of pulled back, and I said, well, I didn't really mean to invite myself, but I'll tell you what. If I'm lucky enough to be confirmed, I will ask Justice Scalia to take me hunting. And I went to Justice Scalia when I got onto the court, and I said, this is the only promise I made during my entire confirmation proceedings, so you have to help me fulfill it. And he thought it was hilarious. He thought it was a total crack-up. And so there you go.